All that work on example 3 you just did, we're going to use, actually best fit lines are equations that we use to actually predict. That's the whole purpose of a best fit line. So, you know, companies do this all the time. They see all these dots, a scatter plot, and they're like, all right, this many iPhones is bought here and this year and this year, and then they're just like, okay, well, here's our best fit line here, approximates all the data. Well, in 2020, this many iPhones is going to be bought. So they kind of gear up to that, you know. So we're going to use what we just had and use it to predict the number of alternative fuel vehicles in 2010. So if you go back to the problem, I think the years X meant the years after 1997. So you need to know your formula. So 2010 is 13 years after 1997. So X is 13 in this case. Okay. Substitute that into that equation we found of our best fit line. Y equals, I forget what it was now. There it is. So here it is. There's our best fit line. So all you do is say, okay, well, X means number of years, so it's 2010 is 13 years. So you put 13 right there. And therefore, you get 796 in your answer. 796 what? Alternative fuel vehicles? Well, not exactly, because Y was the number of 1,000 alternative fueled vehicles. So really it's 796,000. So there it is. There's your answer. So we use those equations, those best fit lines, to make a prediction. That's the whole purpose of them. Okay? Now example 5 we're going to use in the calculator here. I want you guys to follow along because you'll be able to use your calculator on a quiz test. So we're going to use what we call the linear regression feature on our calculator. Basically, our calculator does the best fit line for us. I had to have you do it by hand so you can understand why the calculator is doing what it's doing. Okay? Now we're going to type in those values. Alright, so here's how you put it in the calculator. Here's what you want to do. We can do all of our best fit line right here. So here's what you want to do. Turn it on. Go to the stat key right here. Right here. Okay. Now you want to edit a list. What we're going to do is we're going to put X in a list, then we're going to make Y a list. Okay. So we're going to edit. Number 1. Remember these steps. Number 1, stat. Number 2, edit. You might even want to write these down. Stat, edit. Number 3, you have a bunch of lists here. List 1, list 2, list 3, so on and so on. You keep scrolling. We're going to put my X's in list 1. That's what we always do. X is list 1. Y is list 2. So list 1 is clear, but my list 2 isn't. So here's what you could do. You could scroll over and scroll up. See how list 2 is highlighted? I'm going to clear that, but then you have to hit enter and it'll go away. Clear, enter. There you go. List 1 is free, list 2 is free. Now list 1, we're going to put all of our X's. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put them in right now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit enter after each one. 5, 6, 7. That's good. Now on the right hand side, push over and you go to the right hand side. Put all your Y values. 280. Enter. Make sure they match up. You just can't put anything. Notice that 1 matches up with 295. 0, 280. Those are my coordinates. Next one. 322. 395. And 425. 471, 511, and 548. Okay, now we have our list complete. They end up at the same place, 7, 548. Okay, now here's what we do next. We want to hit stat again. Write that down. Stat again. What you want to do is you want to calculate something. So we scroll over to calc. Right here. Now we want to calculate one of these things. Here's what you want to write down. Linear regression, which means best fit line. So linear regression means best fit line. Same thing. Okay? So hit number 4, AX plus B. That's MX plus B. And number 4. Now you have to hit enter again. So linear regression of ax plus b, yes, hit enter, and there you go. This is the equation, y equals ax plus b. Here's a, here's b. We just need to round. Okay, so 40.9 and 262.8. Okay, put those back in, and we have, what do we get over here? When we did it by hand, that was close to this, right? That makes sense. So, what do we do now? Let's put that in our y equals button. Let's graph this line right here. 40.9x 262.8. So, let's clear this. Y equals, what was it, 40.9x plus 262.8. Okay? Alright, let's graph it. Notice you don't see anything. Remember your window. We only see up to 10, down to 10, left 10, right 10, or whatever it is. You want to change your window. But before we do that, we're actually going to plot the points. We're going to plot these points on a scatter plot. So pay attention to this with me. See this up here? Stat plot. That's what we want to hit. Hit second, stat plot. And we're going to turn one of these plots on. We got a bunch of them. Turn one on. Go to number 1, hit enter. We're going to turn it on, hit enter on, and then we type this as a scatter plot. This is these bar graphs and stuff. X list, list 1, that's right. Y list, that was my list 2. Good. Mark, you can choose whatever mark you want, however one you plot it. Okay, now hit graph. When you hit graph, it now changes it to the plot, but you still don't see anything. That's because look at our numbers. X goes from 0 to 7. That's domain, right? 0 to 7. Range is from 280 to 548. So what you want to do now is hit your window. Your X min, I have is -5. I don't want that. X min, 0. X max, well, at least 7, so I would probably just do 8. X scale, 1s, that's fine. Y min, we don't want it to be -10. We don't even, our lowest Y is 280. So 280. Or maybe 270. I like to go a little bit before and a little bit after. Y max, well, 548, so maybe 600. Okay. Y scale, we don't want to go by 1s. We want to go by 20s. Okay, because it's such a big margin here. All right, now we should see a graph. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful, isn't it? Look at that line. Right through the middle, hitting as many points as we can. Everything's really close to the line. This is our best fit line. Okay? Alright, now, we graphed it, and we got the equation of it. So, what I'm going to look for is, can you get the equation? So, that was the first part of the video. So, make sure you can graph it and find out what the equation is. Okay, which was right here. 40.9x plus 262.8. So if I ever ask you, hey, find the equation of the best fit line, I taught you how to do it in this video. Alright? That's all for section